Forum is brought to you by PROS, headed by Lead. And our guest for today is the Chairman of Committee on Foreign Affairs, Economic Affairs, and of course, former Senate President Juan Miguel Zubiri. Hi, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Basta puro economic, wala lang affairs. Dog only. Mabait ako. Ano ako I am the president of UHAW dun sa amin sa Region 10. Alam niyo yung UHAW?
Ano yun,
Union of Husbands Afraid of Wives. O sino sa inyo membro ko?
I-member ko, sir, yung asawa ko.
Sige, take out na siya. Take out na siya.
We can ask anything.
Joke time pala tayo today. Comedy show pala tayo. Sorry.
Oh, pero sir, ito hindi na joke.
Okay.
Although all is well that ends well between you and Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, but bilang Mr. Congeniality of Senate, do you have any regrets na nagkaroon kayo ng heated arguments or talagang naging mainit na yung sitwasyon at parang mahirap nang kontrolin yung emotion that time?
Well, moving on and moving forward, nagbati naman po kaming dalawa. It was just I would say, a miscommunication that turned into a misunderstanding. Kasi, yun nga, hindi po namin alam anong tinitake up sa floor. Ako naman kasi, kilala nyo ako, I've been really pushing for rules and traditions, lalo na yung traditions of the Senate. And part of the traditions of the Senate was yung agenda of the day, di ba? Kung wala sa agenda of the day, you have to seek consensus from everyone before you actually take it up. Hindi naman natin sinasabi pinagbabawal natin yan kasi panahon ko ng SP ako noon and there were appeals to take up simple resolutions and off the cuff, pumapayag po kami, but with due consultation sa mga members. Kasi nandun po ako, a little background, nandun po ako sa taas meeting with some of our local leaders and then over the TV, di ba yung monitor, narinig ko yung parang creation of districts or appropriation of districts. And so, nagulat ako kasi wala naman sa agenda yung paggagawa ng mga bagong districts. So, bumaba ako. So, tinanong ko lang. And I think medyo siguro na hurt si Ala kasi local bill siya. It's about Taguig. So, and that's why I also apologize because I said it's a local bill. I know you feel very strongly about it. Yung amin lang sana, malaman lang namin kung ano because a concurrent resolution used to have a force of law. So we just wanted to make sure na everything was above board and everything was done the right way. So with the assurance of the Senate President that it was a mere expression, a mere sense of the Senate or sense of Congress kasi concurrent resolution yan. Hindi naman yan weight of a law, especially when the Supreme Court, I think a year or two ago, came out already with a ruling that concurrent resolutions are not laws. And therefore, a law really has to go through the proper procedure, first reading, second reading, third reading, and such. I acceded. Kaya pumayag na rin ako. Also, well, that ends well. Siguro, na-trigger lang siya doon, but ang akin lang naman is we must stick to the rules, we must stick to traditions, and I'm happy that the good Senate President, Senator Cheese, was very magnanimous about it, and he said nga, in the next session days, we will have more at least consultation on these particular issues.
So sir, beyond your expectation, naaabot sa ganun ho yung inyong pagtatalo ni Senator Alan, and ano yung lesson learned from that incident, sir?
I think more consultation. Kasi wala namang problemang makipag-usap sa hapon, di ba? Pwede naman, and I'm not talking about Alan alone. I think for all the members, I think it's good that we have more consultations being done. We have not had a caucus in a long time. So, iba siguro leadership skills ni Senate President Cheese, iba yung sa akin kasi I'm a consultative leader, di ba? So, bago ko ilabas kasi sa plenaryo yung mga discussions na ito, nagko-consensus muna kami sa loob ng Senator's Lounge. So, of course, I respect the leadership of the Senate President, and that's his leadership style. Pero I think we would avoid this pag medyo may more consultation. Yun lang naman kasi, ako, ayoko yung biglaan. Ayoko lang yung biglaan na may mga bills na iti-take up na hindi po natin alam. I actually, the beginning of his, if I'm not mistaken, the beginning of the term of Senate President Jesus Escudero, I made mention of that on the floor, that we need to have the agenda of the week, agenda of the day, para makapag-aral po kami, lalo na sa local bills. Kasi although local bills po siya, we represent the whole country. So even if I'm from Bukidnon, but being an elected senator from the Republic of the Philippines, even local bills, we'd like to know. Kasi for example, baka additional holidays yan, working holidays, or bills that need budgetary requirements like creation of new engineering districts na navivito na nga ng Malacanang. So we want to be guided na these bills be told to us prior to taking it up on the floor na hindi po namin nalalaman. So maganda naman ang usapan namin ni Senate President Escudero, and he promised that with the majority floor leader, they'll make sure that this information is available to everyone.
So we can expect more consultation na, sir, pagbalik ng session para maiwasan yung ganitong insidente.
I hope so. That was my appeal. That was my appeal to the leadership.
Any related question, no more, about the heated arguments? Okay, Mayan.
Sir, nakailang focus kayo since umupo si SPG?
Wala pa. Wala pa.
And you took this up with him after yung tussle ninyo in Center Did you ask him, let's have more focus or meetings before the session?
Yes. Remember we had a huddle I think after our heated altercation on the floor, nag-pause muna si Senate President Escudero, tinawag niya kami sa isang kanto, sa harap, nag-uusap kami. Sabi nga niya sa akin, parang since 1998 na tayo magkasama. Ang tagal-tagal na natin magkaibigan, di ba? Ba't pa tayo mag-aaway-aaway? Sabi ko naman sa kanya, no, agree ako dyan, and it's not in my nature and character, alam niyo naman ako, it's not in my nature and character na makipag-away. Sabi ko na sa kanya, maybe we could have more consultations about this. At least let us know when these bills arise so that we have an idea. Kasi kung nalaman ko lang naman na ganito nga ang issue dun sa Taguig, I would have supported 1,000% our colleague from Taguig. Yun lang kasi, usapin kasi is technical. It was about creation of districts and creation of new, I think, positions for council, which, if you look at the nature of how it's done, it's by law. Constitutional yan eh. If you want to create a new district, it's by law. Even proportioning districts is by law. If you want to carve out, you want to add, by law din yan eh. Pero sabi nga niya na it's just a sense of the Congress. So, kasi wala nang time. Filing na po next week. So, okay naman. I acceded because, my heart is like that. My inherent character is to be that way. But yun nga lang, sana may consultation lang. So sabi nga ni Cheese na he will make sure that it will be, or the members will be informed if things like this happen.
And he agreed to more consultations and caucuses pagbalik po ng session, sir? May ganong promise ba?
Nag-usap kami kahapon na mag-uusap kami. So he said na when we get back, during the break, he wants to meet with me daw. Go one-on-one daw kami.
Over what, sir? Yung meeting?
These issues like more consultations, how we can improve, I guess, the camaraderie within the senators. Diba? So, yan ang pinag-usapan namin.
So sir, aside dun sa consultation, iwasan din sana daw ba ito kung maagang na-file yung concurrent resolution ni Senator Allen? Kasi parang last minute eh. Kung kailan patapos na yung...
Tama na siguro yung discussion na yun kasi magsasagutan pa kami ni Alan yan. I think we can move on from that. But definitely the moral of the story is with the leadership, not with Alan. We're okay with Alan. But with the leadership and the majority leadership is that there should be more, not just consultation, more information given prior to taking up things on the floor. So yun lamang, and I think we have that understanding that when bills and resolutions taken up on the floor, to give us leeway and time to study and discuss these measures. Huwag natin na madaliin.
Sir, na-mention nyo regarding dun sa, meron nga additional? Sige, Mav.
Yes.
Hello. Yesterday lang po sabi po kasi ni Sen. Nancy na bakit kasi hindi na lang gumawa ng bill about the redistricting mismo. Kasi that's how it's supposed to go anyways.
I think with due respect to Alan, in fairness to him, the decision came up maybe about a year ago. There has been kasi a moratorium with Congress. If you notice, wala po tayong naipapasa na bills on redistricting or new districts. Wala. Not a single one. Since the coming this 19th Congress. I think Speaker Martin Romualdez has put a temporary moratorium on tackling of bills. Kasi this is what I heard on the grapevine, you can confirm with him, and the House, is medyo marami-rami ang districts. So I think they put I would say, a temporary moratorium, an undisclosed moratorium on filing of new districts. And I hope that in the 20th Congress, they'll open it up. Because for example, sa amin sa Bukidnon, we have 4 districts, but we have about almost 1.5 million vote. We have almost 1.5 million population na. So we can add 1 more district sa province of Bukidnon. And so I'm hoping that we can do that next Congress. So, and many others, kasi lumalaki ang population
Yes, so
natin.
hindi may iwasan yung creation ng another district.
Correct. May darating din ng panahon, baka maging 400 yung congressmen because of the constitutional requirement of 250,000, no? 250,000 population per district. Lumalaki yung buong Pilipinas. So, I hope they lift that moratorium next Congress.
At lahat ng proposed bill tungkol sa creation ng district nang gagaling sa House yun. Sa
Yes.
iba.
That is treated like a local bill and thank you. It's treated like a local bill and definitely it has to emanate from Congress. Kaya nga yung amin, pag mag-file kami ng, let's say, creation of a new district, nasa Committee on Rules referral yan. It will be referred to the Committee on Rules. All local bills will be referred muna to Committee on Rules unless it's already approved in the House and transmitted to the Senate. That is the only time that we can transmit that to the committee in charge. Yes. So that's the reason why maybe si Alan medyo he asked COMELEC to figure out something, no? To figure out a formula para hindi naman ma-displace yung mga taga-Embo.
So hindi madi-disenfranchise yung mga taga-Embo, sir?
Well, that was his appeal sa resolution niya. So whether the
It's up to
COMELEC will,
COMELEC?
yes. But if you ask, yeah, it's up to COMELEC to make that decision.
Sir, you said yung issue regarding change of Senate leadership is normal every session break. Does it mean meron po laging nag-a-attempt or meron lang talagang nagpapakalat ng chismis?
Alam mo, nung panahon pa nung majority leader po ako Senator Enrile pa. Nung panahon pa ni Senator Enrile, when I was majority leader, I think it was the 14th Congress, if I'm not mistaken. 14th Congress. And then, after which I became majority leader for Senator Soto, marami nang usap-usapin na,
Laging gano'n.
naalala ko nung panahon ni Senator Enrile, may haka-haka, but there were no numbers. And I was a freshman senator, so hindi ko pa alam paano mag-react dito sa mga ganitong klaseng mga pangyayari. I used to weigh it down all the time with Senator Ed Angara, who was my mentor. And always says, ay naku Migs, palagi yan, pag start of break, nagkakaroon ng rumors. I remember during the time of Tito Soto, Tito Sen, nung sa Farmally issue, na talagang matagal ang discussion dun sa Farmally, di ba? Nagkaroon din ng usapin ng coup at that time. I think maybe nobody knows this.
Against former Senate President Tito Soto?
Yes, I think
Kasi na-involve na dun.
I just opened it.
Kasi
I just spilled something that was not in the public's eye before. But even during that time, hindi ko na babanggitin kung sino, pero may lumapit sa akin, asking me if I was interested taking over the post of Senator
Parang kayo
Soto.
mag-ESP, sir.
Yes. And I will not mention who it was, but I told them flatly no. I can't do that to my SP because as majority leader, you have the trust and confidence of the Senate President. So, being his general on the floor, I declined. I politely declined. But even at that time, there was already, and alam ni Senator Soto yan, there was already moves to unseat him because of the very controversial, at that time, Farmally
And na-involved
issue.
po some executive officials, sir.
Yes. So, alam niyo na anong mangyayari doon.
And
But
the-
it didn't prosper because yung grupo namin, yung seatmates, solid kami sa kanya eh. At that time, the seatmates was 8. We were 8. Kasama dyan si Senator Gordon. Kasama namin sa seatmates. So, it was the 6 of us now, plus Senator Angara, which was 7, plus Senator Gordon, 8. So, solid yung grupo namin noon. And at that time, wala silang mabuo dahil solid yung 8. And I said, as long as we stick together, wala po mangyayari kay Tito Sen. And so, he graduated from the Senate in 2022. And then yun, ako na pong nag-take over. And then even during my time, after the PI, may usap-usapin na rin na, yung People's Initiative, may usap-usapin na rin na tanggalin ako. And then during the hearings of Bato, gano'n din, lalong umugong yung mga balita na tatanggalin din ako. So, it's a normal occurrence, guys. I think if you are Senate President, don't be too comfortable in your seat. As Senate President, you should always be ready at all times.
To be replaced.
To be replaced or to be, how do you say this? To respect the decision of the majority. Kasi to be replaced, pangit pakinggan eh, even in place. Kasi parang, I think the majority kasi, when you have 12 to 13, well, this case 13, members who don't want you there anymore, then you have to just respect the decision of the majority. You're at the beck and call of the majority at that point in time. So, my advice to Senate presidents, current and future, is that never warm up too much on your seat. Never be too attached to your office, lalo na yung office sa taas. Kaya na yung wala pa akong opisina, napagawa pa ako ng opisina. Naging squatter po ako sa sarili natin tahanan. So, when I was majority floor leader, if you noticed, I never moved to the 6th floor. Nung majority floor leader po ako, I stayed in my room sa 5th floor. Kasi alam ko at anytime pwede ka na matanggal, diyan ka lang sa opisina mo sa 5th floor.
So, sir, yung advice niyo na yun sa sinumang Senate President ay based sa inyong naging experience.
Yes. Just do a good job. I always said na, alam mo, sabi ko palagi na the Senate presidency, primus inter pares yan eh. You're only the first among equals. In other words, lahat po tayo ay equal. Ano ka lang, nangunguna ka lang, pinili ka lang bilang Senate President. But as fast as they give it to you, it's also that fast they can take it away from you. What is important is your steadfast conviction on how to help the Filipino people at that particular short period of time. Paano natin matutulungan ng taong bayan, yung mga adikain natin, yung mga advocacies ng Senado. And of course, they have to protect also the image of the institution.
Yun nga,
Napakahalaga yan.
Yun nga, sir, is it bad or good? Makabubuti ba ang makakasama sa imahe ng Senate bilang institution na laging may rumors? Kaganyan, konti pa lang o may clip pa lang yung pamumuno ni Senate President Escudero, pero lagi na lang may rumors ngayon, sir.
Ano yan, sabi ko nga, katulad sinabi ko kanina, it's an occurrence every break time. Pero as far as I'm concerned, wala naman ako nakikitang papel, wala naman nakapirma. So,
Walang
the Senate
kumakausap.
President, walang kumakausap sa akin. The Senate President should just continue focusing on his work at hand. And I think, I appreciate his answer na sinasabi niya na trabaho lang ako at kung ayaw na nila sa akin, wala namang problema. You know, it was very being very objective that way, not subjective. So, we appreciate that with the Senate President. So, we just continue our work. We just continue. Malapit na malapit na rin yung eleksyon.
Yeah,
For example,
next year.
pagbalik natin, budget na po siya. We have about maybe 1 month till we tackle the budget. After that, babalik kami ng January.
Into February.
3 weeks
na
lang yun. 3 weeks lang yun. We come back second week of January. We finish first week of Feb. Break na naman yan ng 2 months siguro dahil sa kampanya.
Campaign.
Yeah, so babalik kami ng May. I think after the second week of May, third week of May, after 1 week after the elections. And then we have only 2 weeks of work. After that, handa na po tayo sa bagong 20th Congress. Yeah, and also leadership. No? All bets are off kasi may pagdating sa Senate presidency at the time, all bets are off because you have a set of 12 new senators.
Yes.
So yung 12 new senators, pipili talaga yan ng bagong Senate president. It could be Senator Cheese or it could be anyone else. I mean, you have incoming senior members like Tito Soto, I'm sure will win. Senator Ping Lacson, I'm sure will win. So you have incoming, of course, old-timers. I don't want to say they're old, but
mga
veterans. Veterans. Baka pagalitan ako ng talaga. Mga veterans na babalik dito sa Senado.
So, may follow-up question.
Sir, isa lang, may usapan kayo sa seatmates group na ganon na should there be any talks of a coup, you will not support it? Because anyway, mag-election na rin naman a few months from now. May ganon ba?
Wala naman kaming usapan ng ganyan, pero ang usapan namin is all for one for all. So, we stick together. The 6 of us. We'll continue to stick together.
And your group is satisfied naman?
Nakakalata nga di ba, yung pag-accept ng Legion de Honor ni Senator Lauren, lahat na nagbigay ng speeches, seatmates. Tapos kahapon, ano yun, seatmates din lahat
Yung sa JIL.
Ay, JIL. Seatmates din. Siyempre tumayo at nagbigay po ng suporta. So all for one for all po kami.
Meron pa, Mean?
Thanks.
Anyway, sir, regarding dito sa yung preparation para sa incoming BARM parliamentary elections next year, do you have any concerns po? At ano yung assurance at what should be done to make sure na yung magiging election po fair, credible, and peaceful?
Well, unang-una gusto ko pasalamatin ng Supreme Court dahil naglabas po sila ng decision at constitutional po ang BOL. For a long time, it was a sword of Damocles hanging over our heads as me, the sponsor and principal author, and of course, the members of the BARM. Alam mo, pag dineclare nilang unconstitutional yan, back to the drawing board po tayo at baka magkakaroon ng kaguluhan doon. So, I'm very happy that was the decision of the Supreme Court upholding the constitutionality of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. That is, for me, my biggest legacy, my most difficult bill to pass and sponsor of all the bills that I have had to sponsor. But the fruits of our labor has finally come to light. And kahapon kasama ko sa isang forum yung CABSEC ng BARM at siya mismo nag-announce. Ang sabi po niya na from being the poorest in terms of poverty incidences, poorest region of the country, they're no longer the poorest. So, bumaba na po from 43%, 52% poverty incidences to 23% poverty incidence. Because of what? Peace, kapayapaan. Sabi ko nga, magkaroon lang po tayo ng kapayapaan sa buong Pilipinas. Ang Pilipinas po ay boom na boom. Siguradong lalakas ang ekonomiya ng Pilipinas, lalakas po at dadami ang industriya ng turismo at mga turista. So, that's the fruits of our labor. Unfortunately, there was a decision also by the Supreme Court na ilabas ang sulu sa Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. Initially, kung naalala ninyo, sa mga veterans dito, hindi old-timers, alam siguro ni Ate Sally dito nung pinag-usapan namin yung BOL, remember that there was a very controversial move on the floor na maglagay ng opt-out provision. Si Senator Recto nag-propose. That was the request of some political leaders of the area na pag sinabing no sa probinsya nila, dapat mailabas sa BARM. Pero ang punto kasi ng mga ideologues noon, lalo na sa peace process, pag ginawa mo po yun, then ma-disenfranchise sila. And mawawala yung parang just and lasting formula, which is really being part of an autonomous region where they have autonomy when it comes to promoting their religion, their culture, etc., etc. And you have to remember that Sulu was the hotbed of insurgency in the 70s and 80s. Diyan nagsimula ang MNLF, which was before MILF. It predates MILF. Yung MILF kasi Maguindanao provinces yun. That's mainland provinces. MILF was Lanao and Maguindanao. Yung MNLF talaga was in the island provinces. Kaya na yun ako worried na hindi na po sila nakasama sa BARM. Sana ma-monitor po ng national government yan na hindi naman po magkaroon ng problema doon. Na baka magkaroon ulit ng instigation for whatever it is, extremism. So, when it comes to the elections, tuloy election nila. Kasi hindi na natin ma-postpone yan. Remember that when we extended the BTA, the Bangsamoro Transition Authority, one extension lang yun. And under the law, it said there they must now be elected together, synchronized with the national and local elections. Nandun sa batas yan. The only way we can extend the election in BARM is if we approve another law that will extend them. Pero at this point in time, hindi na po pwedeng mangyari yun. So, magkakaroon ng election. Ang only problem is, disenfranchise po yung 7 seats, yung 7 parliamentary seats ng Sulu. Because under the election code of the BARM Parliament, 7 allocations yung Sulu. 7. Right now, under the BTA, they have 13 representatives from Sulu. So, ang payo ko sa kanila kahapon sa isang forum at ang payo ko po sa kanila ngayon, kung nakikinig po ang parliament ng BARM, is to immediately amend, if possible, make a quick amendment on their election code. Because they passed an election code. Nakalagay dun kasi sa election code yung creation of districts for the representation in the BARM Parliament. That is not a creation of the BOL. The BOL granted the BARM Parliament to do that. So let me be clear. Doon sa BOL, Bangsamoro Organic Law, nilagay po namin dyan, ang Bangsamoro Parliament ang magdi-decide sa redistricting ng kanilang mga lugar. So hindi na po kailangan bumalik sa Kongreso para dito.
Sila na lang.
Kaya na po nila mag-emergency meetings, they can do marathon hearings the next few weeks para itong 7 bakanting upuan ng parliament galing sa Sulu, pwede nila ibigay sa ibang distrito. I-proportion sa ibang distrito. Gets niyo? Para ibibigay na sa iba. Kasi under the BOL, you need 80 members of the Bangsamoro Parliament. May finite number yan, 80 members. So, para hindi maging 73 ang parliament, which kulang ang representation, sayang naman yung nakalagay sa BOL, pwede nilang ibigay yan. Let's say, more representatives from the IP sector, women's sector, or they can give 1 each per province, like 1 more to Lanao del Sur, Maguindanao. So, pwede nilang proportionate pagbigay po niyan. Proportionate to these other sectors. And, of course, geographical political units. So, yan ang pwede mangyari dyan. Pero sana nga, magalaw nila, ma-amend po nila yan kagad para maisama natin sa 2025 elections. But if not, the new parliament can decide the fate of the 7. Of course, they'll have to come up with an amendment to the election code. Kung masyado ng controversial na yun, i-amend yung election code nila.
Pero sir, may commitment ba yung BARM Parliament na magkakaroon sila ng gagawin nilang ganong amendment, yung quick amendment sa election code nila?
I have not spoke. To be honest, I'll be lying to you if I gave an answer. So hindi ko pa sila nakakausap. Pero feeling ko, yan ang direksyon nila. Feeling ko yan ang direksyon nila. No choice din sila. Hindi naman po pwedeng 73 lang po ang parliamentarians ng BARM Parliament.
Anong implication nun, sir? Kung hindi 80 at minus yung 7 ba?
Well, sayang naman yung 7 seats.
Okay.
Sayang naman. They can have more representation for the different sectors. Sayang din yan. And lilit po yung representation ng geographical political units. Kasi as is yung if I'm not mistaken, 39 ba? Ilan? 32 are allocated to legislative districts, 8 for sectoral representation, and 42 party lists. So, yung voice of the people, yung direct voices of the people, makukulang dun sa parliament. Kasi syempre, these are elected in these geographical political districts. Yes.
Po ni Chairman George Garcia na hindi naman kailangan punuan yung 80, pwedeng 73 lang. Tanggalin na lang muna yung 7 from Sulu. But you would rather na they fill up the entire 80.
Yes, because the Bangsamoro Organic Law, which is the Bible, which is the Quran. Yan ang constitution nila yan eh. That's their constitution, that's their guide. Requires 80 members of parliament. So, but Chairman George is absolutely correct. I will not disagree with him. Pwede po for these purposes, for these elections, pag hindi po na-amend yung kanilang electoral code, they can proceed with the 73. And then after which, they can amend the electoral code and baka sa 2028, ma-fill up na po yan. Or they can do a special elections. They can conduct a special elections for the 7 parliamentary, 7 seats. And also, for those people, kasi hindi naman malaki yung agwat ng yes and no sa Sulu. Buti sana kung 200 yung yes to BARM and 300,000 yung no.
Slim
Then we would understand. Pero slim kasi yung margin. About 130 plus thousand yung nag-yes to BARM, 160 plus thousand yung nag-no to BARM. So, dikit pa yun. So, ibig sabihin, almost half the population of Sulu still want to be part of BARM. Now, to do that, they can go to Congress. The people of Sulu through its representation, kasi, alam mo, nung nagkaroon po ng plebiscito, 2019 yan, 2019. Okay. Since 2019, medyo mainit pa yung usapin ng opt-in, opt-out dun sa BARM. Kung gusto nila pumasok o lumabas. From 2019 to 2024, napakalaki na po ang pondo na ibigay ng BARM sa Sulu. Because of the block grant. As a matter of fact, it was enumerated yesterday by Cabsec Pendatum. Sabi niya, they gave almost 9 billion pesos in terms of infrastructure and projects to Sulu alone. Sulu, and they had 5,000 employees under, imagine that's 5,000 families under BARM na mawawala na po dahil sa desisyon ng ating Supreme Court. For example, yung teachers, yung nagbabayad ng sweldo nun, BARM na. So, babalik po yan sa Video 9, DepEd. So, kaya kausap ko din si Sani Angara, paano natin matutulungan yung mga Sulu, dahil kailangan i-reabsorb ng DepEd. Buti na lang, budget hearing na yun, kailangan i-reabsorb ng DepEd yung 4,000 of that 5,000 teachers, of the 5,000 employees of BARM, 4,000 of which are teachers. So, parang feeling ko, at this point in time, medyo nakita nila na may advantage na makasama sa BARM. Kasi aside from the LGU or era ng LGUs, natatanggap nila yung hindi nawawala yung era ng LGUs. Tuloy-tuloy po yan galing sa national government. Pero may dagdag sila galing sa BARM government. So with that said, all is not lost.
Possible pa rin makasama.
Possible sila makasama. How? If the 2 district representatives or even 1 district representative from Sulu files a bill amending the BOL to allow Sulu or to allow a plebiscite once again for Sulu, di ba? To allow a plebiscite once again for Sulu to be part of BARM, we in the Senate, if they approve it in the House, we in the Senate will approve, I'm sure, wholeheartedly that measure. Bakit? Under the BOL law, items like that, which is additional areas, nilagay po namin yan. There are certain provisions under the BOL law, nakalagay doon. If more provinces want to join BARM, then they may do so through a enactment of a bill by both houses and approval, and then we will set a plebiscite. The plebiscite will be set. So all is not lost. Hindi ibig sabihin imposible na at yung mga tao sa Sulu, yung mga kababayan natin sa Sulu, hindi na po makakasama sa BARM. So, wag po sila mawala ng pag-asa. It's just a legislative process. We can tackle it. We can do it. I will be a senator until 2028, until the 20th Congress. If they want to reacquire membership to the BARM, pwede pa po mangyari yun.
Sir, na-mention niyo yung black grant. So, ano yung mukhang nagagamit naman ho ng tama dahil sabi niyo nga ngayon, dun sa BARM, yung poverty incident bumaba na. And then at the same time, sabi niyo nga yung sa Sulu, almost ilang bilyon yung naibigay.
Almost, according to them, for the last 5 years, almost 8 billion na ang nabigay nila doon. 8 to 9 billion. So malaki.
So under BOL, sir, may assurance na yung black grant na ibibigay sa BARM hindi magagamit sa corruption?
Actually, nakikita nyo naman na yun, hindi ganon kagrabe ang issue ng corruption. Hindi katulad doon sa ARM.
Yeah.
Di ba sa ARM, yung mga politiko, dinadala yung pera sa, kinukuha sa land bank, dinadala sa bahay, tapos may kwarto sila, yun yung land bank nila. They just get the money in the bayong and then, you know. So there was really very little transparency. And in fairness to the Bangsamoro Transition Authority and the Chief Minister and the Bangsamoro government, yung criticism sa kanila, and if you can recall, the criticism was, ang bagal-bagal nilang gumalaw sa mga projects. Doon sa first 2 years. Kaya nga in-extend natin sila dahil sa pandemic, pero yung first 2 to 3 years, bagal-bagal daw nila. The reason being, at kausap ko po sina ni Minister Iqbal, ang sabi po nila sa amin na mabagal kami kumilos dahil nag-iingat kami sa pera. Takot sila eh. Remember that they're ideologues, so the people are looking at them. Sabihin ng tao, pareho lang kayo sa mga corrupt nung dati. So, ayaw nilang mangyari yun. And under the BOL, we put two checks and balances. What is the two? We have an internal audit system, may internal audit system ang BOL under the COA, which asks them not only for post-audit but for pre-audit. In other words, kung may programa kayo sa isang lugar, i-present nyo muna dun sa internal audit system nila before it's actually approved into actual implementation. And then after that, may post-audit po tayo sa ating COA. Hindi po tayo pumayag na ang COA nila ang mananatili. Ang sabi namin, no, kasi yung block grant na yan ay galing sa ating lahat dito sa kwartong ito. Sa lahat ng withholding taxes ninyo, ang sweldo ninyo, lahat ng buwis na binabayaran natin. That's the block grant comes from the 5% income of government, which comes from all of us. So we had the right. Sabi ko nga, hindi ako pumayag as author of BOL. Hindi ako papayag na wala pong say ang COA national dito. So, yun yung mga checks and balances. And so, in fairness, wala na po akong naririnig na ganung klaseng nakawan na nangyari nung araw. So, I think it's moving and working fairly efficient for the people. And as you said, the numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie, guys. From 52% to now 23%. Ang laking drop no ng poverty incidences. And I see more investments coming in. I believe there's about 4 to 5 billion of new investments coming in now. Outside investments coming into BARM. There are many countries like Malaysia, Indonesia that want to do halal tourism dun sa BARM. Ano yung halal tourism? Yung paggagawa ng mga, for example, poultry farms, yung sheep farms, goat farms na halal, na kasi mahal ng lupa sa Malaysia, mahal ng lupa dun sa Indonesia, dun nila tatayo yung mga farms at dadalhin po yung mga produkto dun sa kanila mga bansa, and vice versa also for tourism for the BARM area with our neighbors, our Muslim neighbors like from Brunei, Indonesia, and Malaysia.
Sir, kasi may concern ka na what should be done para ma-prevent yung pinangangambahan nyo na extremism dyan sa Sulu? Kasi hotbed, sabi niyo nga.
I think immediately kailangan gumalaw ang gobyerno na hindi ma-displace yung 5,000 workers ng BARM. Alam mo yung 5,000 workers, 5,000 families yun. Kung 5 times that, that's 25,000 people na nawalan po ng sweldo. This month, September, was their last check from the BARM government because of the decision of the Supreme Court. So, national government has to step in immediately. As a matter of fact, sa plenary debates dito, tatanungin ko sa mga department na yan, lalo na sa DepEd, sa DA, DSWD. yung mga ayuda programs nila, kailangan mag-set up shop muli sila dun sa Sulu. Kasi, and take over nila yung mga na-displaced na mga workers in these different agencies of BARM. Kasi BARM may ministry eh. May Ministry of Social Welfare and Development. Yan yung kanilang DSWD. So nung nawala po yung BARM, nawala din po trabaho yung mga Ministry of Social Welfare and Development. Sana ma-absorb ng DSWD yun. Yung teachers, 4,000. Ang nagsisweldo nun, BARM. Ngayon, national government.
Sir, ito naman, yung Department of Budget and Management has released 1 billion pesos to compensate victims of Marawi siege bilang taga Mindanao. Magandang development ba ito o maliit lang yung 1 billion?
Maliit lang 1 billion, my dear. I think ang dami pong ilang tens of thousands ang na-displace nung Marawi incidents. I would have wanted to see double the number, double or triple the number. But we're thanking DBM Secretary Mina Pangandaman because she's from Marawi, she's from Lanao. Maranao po siya. She's from Lanao del Sur for at least giving the initial fund of 1 billion. But hopefully in the next coming years ay parang MICA multi-year release ng multi-year allocation at madadagdagan pa sana yung pondong iyan para magkaroon po ng just and lasting compensation for the Marawi siege victims.
So, konti lang makikinabang dun, sir, sa 1 billion.
Mag-compute tayo at how many families were displaced and homes lost, sa tingin ko medyo payat pa yan. Pero, pasalamat pa rin kami kay Secretary Mina na bilang isang Maranao at taga dyan, ay nag-release po sila. Last year, it was even smaller. I think the previous years, hundreds of millions na yan. A couple of 100 million. So at least now being 1 billion, it broke the billion mark. So I hope that next year it will be even more.
Sir, I heard you have a book regarding Bangsamoro Organic.
Yes.
What is this?
Siyempre,
Is this
invited
book all
kayo
about?
niyan. We wrote a book together with my team. Ito po yung talagang hirap na dinaanan namin sa pagpasa po ng Bangsamoro Organic Law. It was, the law itself took 1 year with all these consultations from the different provinces. And historical tong mga consultations. Why? Because it's the first time na 8, 9, 10 na senador ang nandun. Usually, an out-of-town hearings would be only 1 or 2. Pero ito talagang 10. I think in Zamboanga we were 10 senators at that particular point in time. So it goes to show how important we felt the peace process was for Mindanao. And pati yung mga uniqueness ng aming hearings. For example, yung bicameral conference committee namin at that time my counterpart, I was majority leader, I was newly elected majority leader. Si Rudy Fariñas, si Congressman Rudy Fariñas was the majority leader at the time. A very well-learned, bar top-notcher na legal luminary. Alam mo, ginawa namin para hindi tayo mahirapan ay kasi ang daming contentious issues. Nag-breakout groups kami. I remember what hotel was that sa Ortigas? Hindi, Crown. It was a Crown Plaza. And then, nagka-breakout groups. So, I remember appointing Senator Sani Angara, Senator, could you just answer? Senator Stan is calling me. Senator Sani Angara, Senator Frank Drilon, and Senator Coco Pimentel. Bipartisan talaga yung move. They headed the panel on the legal issues, on the constitutionality of the BARM law. So parang nangyari is, sila po ang nag-discuss nitong creation of the Bangsamoro High Court, the creation of the Sharia courts, the creation of, for example, the preamble and of course the guiding principles of BARM. And then we appointed Senators Lauren Legarda, Senator Risa Ontiveros, Senator Nancy Binay to head the women and children's issues on family, yung family issues of the Bangsamoro Organic Law. So nagkaroon ng breakout groups, tapos may representative congressman din doon. After that, we met late hour of the night with the approved already by different subcommittees. And then nag-meeting po kami, we passed it, we approved it, dito kami, we moved back to the Senate, and remember that historic, na front page pa nga ng Inquirer yun yung historic picture na nag-iyakan lahat. When we have final approval of the Bangsamoro bicameral conference committee report for ratification na kasi yun, nag-iyakan sila dito. Pati ako umiyak. I have that picture in my office na umiiyak po kami nung pinasa po namin yan. And so we encapsulated that in a book, and it's a photo book, so baka nandun kayo kasi nandyan, marami. Kasi mga daming pictures dun may mga media din yun, habang nag-i-interview po kayo ng mga politiko, nandyan din kayo. Gaganda ng pictures and basically narration of how we filed it. It started with Marawi Siege. We filed it, tapos naging journey po siya all the way down to, even up to the plebiscite, nung nanalo na po, Bangsamoro Organic.
When is the launching of that book, sir?
Fingers crossed, December. So, mambublow out po ako sa inyo December. Let's have dinner together with the guests, and hopefully we can launch it by December na po. The title of the book is Road to Peace.
So sir, because of the BARM, kasi napansin nga namin, wala na yung mga issue ng kidnapping, dyan sa, wala na, di ba?
Wala na masyado.
Because of the BARM.
Imagine, nagkakaroon ng turista na sa Tawi-Tawi. Because of the BARM, because you're getting combatants and making them part of government. Yung mga combatant dati ay ngayon kawani ng gobyerno. So parang sila na mismo nagsasabi na huwag tayong magkagulo dito dahil mapapahiya tayo sa taong bayan at sa buong Pilipinas. They take it upon themselves. No? Parang may ano na sila, may stake na sila. They're now part of the solution, not part of the problem. Kaya yung dating, siguro yung dating mga armed elements ay ngayon sila na po ay member ng PNP, member ng AFP, sila ay member ng BARM government, nasa BGMP na po sila. So, napakaganda ng kalalabasan. If you notice, we have not had, and knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but we have not had any major incidents since the passage of the BARM law. Except siguro yung Marawi bombing, yung nasa MSU. Pero yung talagang extremist militant yun na galing pa sa abroad yata yung training nun at yung kasama dun sa pagsabog nun. But that was the only time. Yung sa simbahan sa MSU. Other than that, there's been no major incursions. There have been no major clashes, except siguro pagkakabul nila dun sa BFF. Which, even now, di ba, medyo tahimik na rin yung BFF kasi nag-reach out po yung MILF na peace panel sa kanila na magsama na lang tayo lahat. Anyway, the national government has given us this kind of autonomy that they can be proud of. By the way, I'm happy to say, in all my official visits, pumunta po ako sa speaker ng Parliament ng Great Britain, sa France, National Assembly, even the European Parliament, ang pinupuri po nila ang Bangsamoro Autonomous Region of Muslim Mindanao. It has become a case, a successful case study for many countries who have this type of extremism, na separatist movement. Talagang unang-unang agenda, pasalamat sila na tinuloy po natin. Pasalamat sila sa akin. Nag-author po tayo, nag-sponsor. And that it's now being a case study for many other places for them to be able to succeed in the peace process.
So you're hoping eventually magiging tourist destination na po itong mga probinsya under BARM?
Alam mo, Ate Sally, we've been to a lot of places in the country for election purposes. Alam nyo, ang pinakamagandang beach area ang BARM. Ang mga beach sa Tawi-Tawi, pati sa Sulu, pink yung sand.
Pink. Hindi white, pink.
Hindi white, medyo light pink.
Mauve.
Na sand. Kasi may mga shells, I think there's shells there that are pinkish na shells na nagiging fine powder pink. Ang gaganda, yung Bonggao ng Tawi-Tawi, if you've never been to Bonggao, it is like Tahiti or yung mga islands sa Micronesia. Ang ganda-ganda. So, if you're looking for like tourist havens, basta may kapayapaan, BARM is the place to go. And of course, agriculture. The best place to plant bananas, pineapples, corn, and different kinds of high-value crops is BARM. Diyan lang ako nakakita sa Maguindanao, sa Lanao Sur, na tens of thousands of hectares na napaka-fertile ng soil, napakaganda napakataba ng lupa. Bilang isang licensed agriculturist, I would say that it was one of the best areas to promote agriculture.
Pero sir, mako-cover ba yung BARM dun sa sinusulong nyo na establishment ng cabinet cluster focus dun sa mga issues sa tourism industry or hindi?
Di, kasama po.
Kasama din
kasama
yun.
po yan. Kasi dun sa BARM, sa BOL, nailagay po natin ang mga programs of national government, hindi dapat mawawala din sa BARM. So for example, ang TUPAD, AIX, hindi dapat mawala sa BARM yun. So whoever heads the BARM, whoever chief minister they have, it's still going to be part and parcel of the programs of national government. So kung may tourism roadmap po tayo, kasama po yung BARM. Kasama po yung BARM.
So sir, anong open ba yung Malacanang to create a cabinet
Yes,
cluster?
ang balita sa akin ni DBM Secretary Mina at Senator Ralph, when I followed up with them, the President's very open to it. So actually, mamaya pupunta po ako sa Malacanang sa signing ng ating Agricultural Smuggling, Anti-Smuggling Act. So I'll bubulong ko ulit kay Presidente na kung pwede mag-conduct po siya ng cabinet cluster for tourism. Sayang eh. That's a low-lying fruit. Kasi, papakita ko sa iyo, really quick,
Apa.
yung tourism, napakaliit ng ano niya sa GDP. Ang, I think less than 4% ang contribution sa GDP. Where in other countries like Thailand, Malaysia,
Mataas.
Indonesia, like Bali, mataas po, double digits yung contribution ng tourism sa
Tourism.
GDP growth rate ng bansa. So,
Sayang.
sayang. I think we're all less than 5%. Less than 5%.
Okay, other issue? Ano nga po?
John Ordonez from Business World.
Hi, John.
Sir, this is concerning the South Korean Free Trade Agreement.
Oh, yes.
And sir, since South Korea wants to expand more of its car manufacturers in the Philippines with the agreement, since it would remove 5% of its import duties on these cars, how can the Philippines leverage this FTA with the Create More to attract more foreign investors?
Well, the free trade agreement which we ratified this week, na-ratify na po yan. We had unanimous consent for this. Will pave the way for more trade between Korea and the Philippines. Parang JPEPA po yan. Magiging mas mura yung mga Korean goods, but at the same time, magiging mas accessible yung agricultural products natin dun sa Korea. That was one of the first items on the agenda in the discussions of the trade talks with Korea, na makakapasok yung mga pinya, bananas, mangoes, agricultural products also directly into Korea with less tariffs and less protectionist measures of the Korean government. So, malaga po yan. And of course, we can now do more trade in terms of manufacturing of furniture, yung mga uniquely Filipino, mga tatak Filipino products dun sa Korea. It will also now open or pave the way for Korean companies to come into the Philippines to set up shop. Easier for the Korean businessmen also to get business visas under this trade agreement. So it will mean more jobs. Talagang walang talo ang free trade agreement natin sa Korea. Ang tinutulak na lang natin na yun ang European Union. So EU trade agreement, free trade agreement, and many others. No? We're trying to also get a preferential trade agreement with the United States. Na as of now, wala pa. So, on the Create More, I'm happy to announce, because of the Create More discussions, it bore fruit already. Ang dami na pong Japanese companies na papasok sa atin, yung mga Japanese companies na nandito na, that were here, that wanted to relocate. For example, Itochu, who owns Dole Philippines, that actually employs 50,000 Filipinos, because of our amendment that as long as you are an export-oriented company in the Philippines, that does not need to be located in an IPA, which is like for example Clark, Subic, Apeco, Cesa, at nasa labas po kayo, katulad ng Del Monte, Dole, and other companies, you will be also subject to the same, almost the same, no? Rules and regulations and benefits and I'm looking for the word, mga incentives that are given to the ones located in the IPAs. So, because of that, hindi na alis ang Itochu. We had a lunch, binuot nila ako sa Japanese lunch last week. Tuwang-tuwa po sila. And they said that they are so happy that they want to expand. So, kaya nakikiusap siya sa akin sa Bukidnon, kung pwede ba na daw sila mag-expand, tatayo daw sila ng planta. It's a box, box plant, yung boxing, yung crate plant. Paggawa po ng mga crates and boxes nila. Which before, dahil nga walang amendment sa crate law, problematic sila dahil charge sila ng VAT for the packaging. But because of this new crate law, now they can produce the packaging here instead of importing it. Imagine, it makes no sense. Dahil sa dating regime, before the crate law was passed, the new crate more. For example, exporter ka, my dear, nag-export ka ng glasses. Yung nalagyan ng glasses niyan, local. Local. China-charge local packaging. Icha-charge ng BIR yung local packaging. Nai-export mo na naman. So, hindi naman yan local consumption. Ang sabi ng BIR, di mag-apply ka ng VAT refund. Yung BIR naman, di naman namimigay ng refund yun. Kasi mawawala yung collection nila. Ang ginagawa nila, eventually, sinasabihan nila yung mga exporters, take us to court. So, yung Itochu, for example, Dole Philippines, they have 5 billion pesos pending on the CTA, Court of Tax Appeals. Kaya parang, imagine, they lost 5 billion in revenue. So talagang nainip sila, gusto na nilang umalis. So under this new law, yung manufacturer niyan, cover ng iyong eyeglasses ay now VAT-free. Basta i-export mo yan. No need of refund. So nabuhay muli yung export industries dito sa ating bansa with the Create More provisions. And I'm very happy and proud of our contribution, and also remember that I was the one who was pushing for this as SP. I gave a speech on the podium na yung mga Japanese exporters are complaining. When we went to Japan to meet Prime Minister Kishida, yan dan ng bungkang bibig niya na may problema yung mga Japanese exporters dito sa Pilipinas at natatakot siya ay umalis sila. And when he came here in his speech, he also mentioned that he was very appreciative of the fact that we are trying to solve that problem with the Create More bill. So I'm very proud and honored to have been part of that journey, and I'm proud of also of our sponsor, Senator Sherwin Gatchalian, who's a member of our group. So, John. Yes,
Sir,
Okay.
follow-up question. Sir, the Senate recently passed the VAT refund for tourists bill as well. And Senator Coco opposed this measure. So what do you think the government should do to attract more tourists after this passage?
Actually, I'm very much in favor of that. Kasi lahat ng umiikot sa buong mundo, mga katulad nyo, magbabakasyon po kayo sa Japan. I'm sure marami kayo magbabakasyon ng Japan or nakabakasyon sa Japan. Doon mismo sa shop, when you go to Uniqlo, and I'm sure everybody goes to Uniqlo here, when you go to Uniqlo, kagad-agad hingi nila sa yung passport mo. Pag may passport ka, ima-minus nila kagad. I think 10% or 8% of the cost of your goods. Doon na mismo, with the passport. Ganun kabilis. Ibang bansa sa airport. I think if you're in Europe and some other countries sa airport, mo kukunin yung D-tax. It's called the D-tax. Kaya ang daming turista pupunta sa mga lugar nito to shop. Dito sa atin, if you're a tourist, napakamahal ng bilihin dito. Napakamahal. Why will you shop here? You cannot do shopping tourism or what you call tourism na yan, yung commercial tourism to go to a place and start shopping. So, I'm in favor of that. My only question lang to Senator Wing Gatchalian, yung ating chairman ng Committee on Ways and Means, yung hindi po siya, yung sa implementation, na hindi po siya maaabuso. Di ba? Kasi, baka mangyari, bibili ka ng goods,
And then,
bibili ka ng bag, at sasabihin mo sa tindera kung kaibigan mo yung may-ari, sasabihin mo na, tanggalin mo na lang yung VAT niyan, bigyan mo na ako ng VAT discount, ilabas mo na lang na parang foreigner ako. Ganoon, di ba? Ang dating. But I was assured by Senator Gatchalian that they put enough safeguards kasi hindi pwede daw, unlike Japan, it cannot be from point of origin where you buy. It will have to be in the airport. So, ang labanan doon is sa airport, lalo na sa customs. Kasi maglalagay sila ng D-tax ng Department of Finance. Magkakaroon sila ng D-tax office. You have to prove that you're not a resident. You're a non-resident Filipino. Even if you're Filipino, you're dual citizen, you live abroad, you live, let's say, in US or Europe, pwede ka mag-avail ng detox. But you have to prove that you're a non-resident. So yun ang mahalaga dyan. So, I think that's one of the safeguards. Kasi kung magkaroon po ng corruption yun, doon na sa airport na mangyayari yun. Port of exit. Or the port of exit. So, but I think that will boost a lot in terms of tourism. Kasi makikita na nila na, wow, pwede pala mag-detox dito sa Pilipinas. Maraming turista na darating dito. As long as we are competitive with our goods. Kasi yun ang sinabi, kausap ko yung mga watch sellers, yung sa Ivan Yao ng Lucerne, sabi nga niya, walang namimili ng relo sa amin dito. Lahat sila pumupunta sa Japan, sa Europe, kasi may detox, mas mura. So, palugi sila. Talagang walang namimili ng goods dito.
So with this law, pwedeng dito na sila muna.
Dito sila mag-shopping. Kasi sayang din yan. You have 5 million tourists that go to our tourism destinations or tourist destinations. That 5 million tourists can also shop. Diba? So may tourism potential. Baka madagdagan yung turista natin.
Sir, before NIMPA, ano na palang update dun sa proposed legislated wage hike for private sector? Ano nang chance daw noon na maging batas or
Alam
malabo?
Oo nga, lumampas lang yung May 1, di ba yung sigaw ng mga manggagawa natin
Opo.
ay itaas ang sahod. Meron na po tayong approved Senate legislated wage hike. And I thank Senate President Jesus Cordero for supporting it. Naglabas din siya ng statement, I think in your forum, in other forums and fora, that he supports the 100 peso wage hike and it stays. He says it remains as a priority of the Senate. So, umapela kami sa House, di ba? I mean, they represent districts na may mga manggagawa, na mga daily wage earners. Sana itulak po nila ito. At if they want a higher legislative wage hike, so be it. We will support. If they want it a bit lower, okay lang. Basta ipasa nila. Para meron talagang welcome respite. May makahinga po ang ating mga manggagawa. So, at umapela ako sa taong bayan na kausapin ang kanilang mga kongresista. Di ba sa Amerika ganun? Pag may problema ka, take it up with your congressman. So, sa ating mga manggagawa, take it up with your congressman. Wala, tapos na kami dito sa Senate. You don't need to come here. You don't need to rally outside. Pinasa na po namin yung legislated wage hike sa amin dito sa Senado. Ang apela po namin, go to your congressman. Lapitan niyo po yung mga kongresista ninyo. Kausapin niyo po sila. Yugyugin mo po ang batasang pambansa na kung pwede ipasa din po nila ang kanilang version ng legislated wage hike. Para sa ganun, magkaroon po ng komportabling buhay. Yung mabubuhay na matiwasay ang ating mga manggagawa. They need a living wage and not the wages that they're receiving today.
Okay, NIMPA. Other issue.
Sir, currently meron pong US missile launcher dito. Dinala dito noong April, ginamit sa balikatan, and sabi ni AFP Chief of Staff Browner, gusto niya sana permanente na dito, and then si Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro sabi neither confirm nor deny if that missile launcher would be here indefinitely. Sir, sa inyo, anong tingin nyo dito bilang passionate din, or advocacy rin nyo yung
Yes.
pagpapalakas ng defense posture natin? Kailangan ba natin yun? Practical and safe po ba na meron tayong ganyang missile launcher with China protesting, and at kailangan ho bang i-disclose kung nandito ba talaga yung missile launcher?
Ako sa aking pananaw, personal na opinion, dapat talaga manatili siya dito habang hinaharas pa tayo sa West Philippine Sea. Habang lumalapit ang China sa mainland Philippines. Recent reports, they were about 25 nautical miles from the Philippines dun sa research vessel nila. Illegal po yan. Hindi po sila humingi ng permiso sa ating bansa, or at least coordination sa ating officials ng ating bansa. That could have led to a misencounter. That could have led to a very dangerous situation and tense situation sa West Philippine Sea. Habang ganun ka-provocative ang China, then we welcome all the support. We welcome all the support. Kasi hindi natin kaya. Wala nga tayong coconut bomb. Pagkatapos nito, pupunta ako sa yung defense show sa World Trade. Titignan natin yung mga iba't ibang armamento na galing sa iba't ibang bansa at siguro maglalaway na naman ako para sa ating Philippine Army, Navy, and Air Force. At mahihinayan po tayo dyan sa mga makikita natin. So yes, I am in favor of keeping these medium-range defensive weapon systems. Remember, it's a defensive weapon system. It's not an offensive weapon system. Under the Constitution naman natin, pinagbabawal natin ang nuclear weapons. So definitely, dapat walang nuclear weapons sa ating bansa. That is a prohibition under the Constitution. Pero defensive, protective, dome-type systems, like the Iron Dome, please install them here. Please, let's start investing into that. Nakita po natin yung Iron Dome na nagpo-protect na yun sa Israel, di ba? Sa mga missiles from Hezbollah and Gaza, from the Hamas. So, nakakatulong po protektahan ang kanilang bansa. So, at this point in time, with due respect to our neighbors, China, as long as they do not stop the provocative nature, provocative actions that they are doing in the West Philippine Sea, I am in favor of retaining defensive missile systems in the Philippines as a deterrent for any future provocative action.
Sir, dapat ba maging transparent din ng gobyerno natin? Sabihin kung nandito nga yung missile
Pero actually, Nympha, last budget, di ba, kaya naging issue sa akin yung bukol-bukol dun sa budget na yan. Naging issue sa akin dahil naglagay po tayo ng almost 12 billion sa AFP and Coast Guard. And part of the 12 billion was actually missile systems. Protective missile systems, anti-ship and anti-aircraft missile systems. So, nag-aanda din po yung AFP, pero kulang pa rin. Kasi ang ginastos yata nila yung mga 4 billion. Ilan pong missile systems ang mabibili niyan if you convert it into dollars. So, whatever help our assistance, our allies can give us, why not? For example, Japan gave us radar systems to detect this type of intrusions. So, you don't hear angry voices from any sector about these radar systems. But radar systems is not enough. Nakita po natin, papasok na, anong gagawin natin? Dadasal na lang tayo. Hindi naman pwede yun, di ba? Kailan nakikita natin, papasok na, depensa natin ang sarili natin. So, yan ang importante.
Pero sir, isa na lang.
O i-launch ang manananggal.
So isa na lang, but anong gagawin po natin with China protesting? Nagagalit sila, although sila mismo nagtetest din ng kanilang missile launcher.
Well, we'll just tell them, stop harassing us. Can't we live peacefully in the West Philippine Sea? Can't we coexist? Can't we patrol our own exclusive economic zone granted to us by the arbitral ruling of the UN? So, until they leave, until they stop their provocative action, we should welcome assistance from our allies.
Pero sir, yung iba kasi sinasabi baka makaprovoke lalo to sa China.
Pinoprovoke naman tayo araw-araw, pinoprovoke tayo.
Sila yung nagpo-provoke.
Sila nagpo-provoke. Tapos nagagalit pa sila kung nandun kayo, mga media nanonood. Di ba pinipicturean pa kayo eh? Di ba? Pinipicturean pa kayo. Para kayo naman spies. You guys are international spies for videoing them. Kalokohan yung mga accusations nila.
Before Robert, so sir, dito nga sa nangyayaring tension sa West Philippine Sea, conforme pa ka ba na binawasan daw yung proposed budget para sa AFP modernization program for 2025?
I'm extremely upset and disheartened to find out na binawasan yung pondo nila, lalo na sa modernization program. I think ang nilagay lang po nila sa modernization program is a measly 25B.
Yes. From
Ano mabibili mo sa 25B? That's $500 million. What can you buy with $500 million? Yung aircraft systems na kailangan natin is, I think, $20 to $30 million per aircraft. So, 12 aircraft alone is ubus na po yung 25 billion sa 12 aircraft. Kailangan po natin barko. Yung Coast Guard kailangan nila ng malalaking barko. Kailangan nila ng offshore patrol vessels. When I say offshore, pwedeng mga isang buwan na nasa dagat. Kasi yung maliliit na patrol boats, kailangan nila bumalik palagi, so napakamahal ng gastos sa gasolina at crudo. So, 25 billion is a pittance. I hope that the Senate, with the leadership, can step up the funding. Maybe match what we gave last year. Di ba? Kung kaya nila magdagdag ng 10 billion pa for the 25 billion for their anti-hacking, yung sa cyber-hacking units, yung mga additional missiles, aircraft, and ships for both Coast Guard and the Navy.
Okay, Robert.
Sir, good morning. Your reaction lang, sir, and comment. Ngayong umaga po kasi during sa alyansa ng Bagong Pilipinas na nilaunch po ni President Marcos, pinakilala na niya yung 12 slate niya na bubuin dahil nga po alyansa, iba-ibang partido nang galing. Kasama po dito yung mga nakasama na ninyo before dito sa Senate, si Tito Sen, si Senator Manny Pacquiao, si
Ping
former
Lacson.
Senator
Ping Lacson.
Lacson, Senator Lapid. Your reaction to this, sir?
No, I welcome that. Alam mo naman, I'm an ally of the President, so wala naman po akong problema dyan. I've worked with all of them, di ba? Kasama naman natin sila dito. And we're excited to see the outcome of this 2025 elections. And hopefully, makakabalik po sila lahat. Lalo na yung mga incumbents na nandito po na yan.
Sir, may mga susuportahan ka ba endorse na mga senatorial candidates?
Siguro sa Mindanao, tsaka sa... kasi meron po kaming sugar block, yung mga sugar producing areas, which is Negros, parts of Batangas, and Iloilo, and Panay Island. They're asking, tumatawag sila palagi sa akin kung mag-endorse po ako ng naisusuportahan nila. Of course, I'll be endorsing some candidates. But I'm not at liberty to say which ones at this point in time.
Some are re-electionists, sir.
Oh, yes. Yes, some are elections.
Mean.
Sa mga endorse kasama si Erwin Tulfo, tapos nag-declare rin si Ben Tulfo kahapon. Hindi ba ano yun?
Alam mo, problema kasi walang clear prohibition wala po tayong batas sa anti-dynasty. So, anyone at this point in time is welcome to run. It is not unconstitutional it's not unconstitutional because there's no law yet, so it's not illegal. But of course, eventually we should come up with an anti-dynasty measure kasi eventually it would be good to have these type of reforms in the system. But I have no problem with Erwin. I've worked with him when I used to be in the morning show of ABS-CBN. Dati, sa Umagang Kay Ganda. Sama ko siya. So, matagal na kami kaibigan ni Erwin. And Ben, alam mo yung pamilya Tulfo, kaibigan ko sila kasi si Mon, yung Kuya Mon nila, kasama ko sa martial arts, sa Bakbakan. Black belt sa amin yung si Kuya Mon. So, I have no problems with any of these people running at this point in time. Wala naman tayong problema.
Pero sir, maganda ba sa image ng Senate na parang sabi ni Kamag-anak Incorporated?
Mamano ako. No comment, ha? Papaaway pa ako dito.
Okay, Mean.
Hello?
Yes.
Sir, usan ako sa budget kasi sir, pumasa na po kagabi sa House, pero ang laki ng budget cut dun sa OVP. Where does it stand here in the Senate? Ibabalik niyo ba yung na-cut or nabawas na budget sa OVP, sir?
We'll wait. Who's handling the OVP budget? Is it
Senator Poe.
Senator Poe? We'll wait for the decision of Senator Poe on what her plan of action will be. So we have several colleagues that already said that they want to increase the budget allocation. I think it's Senator Joel Villanueva and Senator Jingo Estrada. So we'll just wait for the final outcome and we'll be discussing it on the floor. It's too premature at this point in time to say what should happen and what will happen.
Pero sir, sa inyo sir, will you move na ma-increase? Kasi anyway, umattend naman si VP dito sa House kasi sir, mukhang yun yung contention nila, hindi siya umaattend doon sa mga
In
budget.
fairness, dito nag-attend po siya and she answered questions raised by some of our senators. She was very engaging with the senators, so walang problema. Kaya, so hintayin ko lang yung decision ni... I think the appetite though amongst the senators is to increase her budget a bit. Yun yung sa usap-usapan sa lounge.
Increase from...
The appetite is of the senators. I'm not saying me. I'm saying the discussions on the lounge is to increase ng konti yung budget ng ng OVP.
So yung 2 point something billion, dagdagan pa?
Hindi. Yung 700
Ay, binawas.
million na yung 700 million na in-approve ng House, darating sa amin yan, 700 million eh. 700 million. So yung appetite ng ibang senador dito sa Senado is dagdagan pa ng konti.
By how much?
Wala pa. Ay, hindi ko masabi yun. Yan ang usap-usapin lang ng nandun. Hindi ko nakausap. And the best person to ask there is the chairperson of her, or the chairperson of the Finance Committee, which is Senator Grace Poe.
So sir, ang mangyayari niyan, pagdating sa BICAM na lang, aayusin kung magkaiba yung...
Magkakaroon ng difference sa BICAM, so difference of opinion. Again, the best person to answer that is Senator Grace Poe.
So dapat ba umattend dito si VP para hindi magkaroon ng katulad ng issue like sa House? Di ba sa pag-plenary,
I think she'll attend here. I think she'll
Dito
attend
sa
here.
Senate.
I think.
Mas,
Of course, I don't want to guess anything. Baka she won't attend. Ang pagalitan niyo ako na hindi pala nag-attend. Ako na, I think she might attend here. Yeah, last year she was here. But we'll see.
sir, enough na basis ba para ipanawagan na mag-step down sa position si BP yung hindi niya pag-attend sa House?
Hindi naman tama siguro yan. I think it's her prerogative. She was selected by 31 million Filipinos. You know, as she said, she will respect the decision of Congress on her budget. We'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that.
Okay, any more question? No more?
Thank you,
Gutom na
guys. Gutom na sila. Gutom din ako. Hindi pa ako nagbe-breakfast.
Gusto namin,
May
sir,
fasting ako,
makapunta
fasting.
sa mga sinasabi mo magandang beach sa bar.
Oo, punta tayong tawi-tawi. Sige. Set ko, gusto mo? Pero sasakay na naman tayo
Yung
ng
may
military
pink
plane.
sand.
C-130 na lang. Sorry, C-130.